Now, this is a very difficult operation. What I'm doing is turning every other one over. Very difficult because it tends to fall apart. Every other one has got to be turned over. And you'll see now why I was only interested in the right hand side. By carefully turning all these over, I will now have the left hand side equal to the right hand side when I've cut off all the little bits that are sticking out. I'll go on doing this off camera in a moment, and then I'll show you when I finished. Alright, the worst thing that could happen now, take the tapes back off again. The worst thing that could happen is to look in the middle somewhere and see that you've got two going the same way. You haven't turned it over. But if I turn it around now to the camera the other way, there, you'll see that I've got both sides now the same. And what I need to do now is go back to the bandsaw and trim off all these pieces on the edge, and it will then should then line up and both sides will be the same. So that's what I do now, back to the bandsaw. Okay, we're back to the bandsaw. What I didn't tell you last time, I should have done, is that I've now taped both sides so that, just to give it some strength while I'm cutting. I'm now going to cut off all the edges. Now I'll do the same on the other side, and both sides now should be equal. Right, here we are now. Finally, all the wood is being cut, and we're ready for the assembly stage. And you will see, because the way I talked about the right hand side every time, the left hand side put itself right in the end, because it copied the right hand side when we cut the pieces off. Assembly next. Right, now I've mounted two rods. This one, which is the one I'm going to use to put the Whirligig on, and this one, which is the original one, I've now mounted it in a vise upside down. And the plan is to take one unit at a time off from there, put it onto here, use some adhesive and gradually build them up, taking one at a time from here with a slight offset, and around we go. Right, here we go, start the assembly. What I've done, I put some polythene onto my vise so that should any glue be there, it wouldn't stick to the vise. I'll take my first piece of timber from the ones we cut, and I'll lay it on top of there. Then I'll take some glue. And this glue is a PVA, but it's external and industrial PVA. So I just put a bit like so. Right, it's easier when I get the brush soaked. He's only just started this brush. Now I take the next one and put it down on top, and I'm going to turn it this way. You see I've got a slight offset. I put some more glue on this one. This will help, of course, also stick it to the wire which is going down through. But let's put a glue on there. And we take the next one. Step in the same sort of angle, and so on up the stick as we go. And what I'm going to do is to, especially because this is the first start, I put about, say, 10 pieces on, and then let the glue set a bit before I do any more. You see it's quite a long process to get all the way through. I think I said I had 70 pieces on here, so it's going to take a little bit of time. First thing about this glue is if it goes over the edge, it doesn't show because it's transparent. Now I've got as far as layer 27. So now there's sufficient growth in it now that it's stiffened itself up, and it's quite a bit easier to work than it was in the very beginning. It's coming along nice. I guess we're halfway around the big curve now, so start going inwards again in a minute. That's when you've got to be a little bit more careful, because you've got to make sure each piece of wood doesn't have any sort of burrs on the end of it, like there, for example. It's all right when you're getting bigger, but when you start getting smaller, they tend to sit on top of each other, and it's a bit of a problem. I've got a bit there, that's the burr, so I just rub it off on a piece of paper, and that'll be okay. Except that I went to put it on upside down then. You've got to be very careful with this. It's very easy to put one on upside down. Right, so there we are. I'll carry on putting some on now. I'll come back again in a minute when I got 3/4 of the way through. This is how far we got so far. I left it overnight for it to harden off. You'll see it's quite a rigid structure now. So I can put the last few pieces on, maybe in 2 goes. These are the few pieces which still have to go on, and I'll do perhaps it in 2 halves before I finish it. Right, now I'm fitting the last 2 pieces. This is all reasonably firm now. I should do this, and I should leave it then overnight to all harden up nicely before I bend the top of the wire over bend this over to make a loop to hang the put some string on, hang it up. We'll do that tomorrow, and then I shall hang it up and try it and see that it works okay. This particular one I have wound looking down on top. I've wound it clockwise. Now, for some reason, they seem to spin better if you do it that way. I don't know why. I have made them in both directions before now, and this seems to be the best direction. Right, so that's it complete now. Nothing else I can do until tomorrow. Here's another view in close up so you can see a twist, same sort of twist all the way down. And that's it. Here's the final thing now on test. Put a loop on the top, string up. Needs a bit better string than what I've got, but that's fine for testing it. As you see, it turns in the wind. That's all there is to it.